Welcome to 30-Second Chances, where we ask deep, contemplative questions and provide far too little time to formulate thoughtful, reflective answers. My guest today is filmmaker and producer of Don Lewis and the Live Electronic Orchestra, Ned Augustenborg. Ned, how are you, man?
Great, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to be with you, my friend.
Love the shirt.
Oh, thank you. You know
All right,
where it comes from?
Pardon me?
You know what the shirt is derived from?
It's got to be something different.
It's in Thailand. You ever been to Bangkok?
Yes.
Okay. You get a $500 Rolex, and they go same. Yeah, that's what that's.
Very nice. You can get that down in Lower Manhattan too, you know.
I'm sure you can. And
From
their
stores
English,
that have been going out of business for the last 45 years.
and their English is probably a lot better too.
Absolutely, yes. All right, you know the dance, 30 seconds on the clock, and then on to the next question. Are you ready?
I hope so.
All right, question number one. Describe your job to a 5-year-old.
Hi there, kid. Have you ever watched television before? Yes. Well, somebody's responsible for those images and those sounds that go on the television, and I'm one of those guys. So hopefully I'm producing content that you will find fulfilling, enjoyable, and productive in terms of your time. So those images you see on the screen, I'm one of those guys that makes them.
Wow.
And I've got a few more seconds, so I should keep filling.
Next question. What's
Okay.
the one thing you wish someone had told you before you started your career?
That it was going to be so much work, and not only so much work, but how much networking was involved. For some reason, I had this image that I could just sort of float in between the bodies and the psyches and the egos and make something happen and become rich and famous. But it's really a matter of networking with those people and embracing the whole human experience to make things get done on time
Work.
and quality.
Yeah, actually having to work at it, right?
Work at it. That damn work thing gets in the way. Yeah.
Next question. Tell me something interesting about yourself that may or may not be true.
Interesting about myself that may or may not be true. Okay, here's something that's interesting about myself that may or may not be true. One of my big heroes in life is Elgin Baylor, who was a fantastic Hall of Fame forward for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I watched him play many games. And the two of us spent about 25 minutes together on an outdoor court at Redlands University, 95-degree weather in the middle of summer, and had 3 half-court games to 12.
We should add to that you are what, 7 feet tall or something like that?
I am 6'6", yeah. So that helped. I never thought I'd be taller than Elgin Baylor, who's 6'5", or was 6'5". At that time, I was probably 5'11", because I was 13 years old. So,
next question. What's the weirdest or most embarrassing thing you've ever done when overtired, preoccupied, or otherwise on autopilot?
I know. That's easy. It was I was doing a game on ESPN. It was ESPN. It was a football game, a Division I game, but it was a low-level Division I game. It was like Idaho versus New Mexico State or something like that. And I was pretty exhausted because I'd made a long drive. So we pre-taped the opening all the time, where they introduce the teams and do all the graphics and do that. That's banked and it looks live. You roll it and then go to commercial, then you go live. Well, anyway, we had banked one of those and we were already on the air, and right at the top of the air we go in and I start directing something that I'd already directed.
Next question. What's the worst thing you've ever said to a boss or a client without thinking?
Oh, I say bad things to somebody. I really put a lot of thought into it. Without thinking, that's the hard part. I think it might have been something along the lines of, I think you're underqualified to supervise me. That's probably the gist of it.
That's kind of tactless.
You say the questions. I'm just here to give you.
Next question. If you could have one pointless or semi-useless superpower, what would it be and why?
I'd have to say I'd like the invisible concept, being invisible.
That's almost too useful.
What?
That's almost too useful.
No, it's very self-indulgent. It really, because it'd be fun to see how people respond when nobody's around or they perceive the fact that nobody is around. And that gives you the true persona of that particular individual because they are perceived to not be viewed. So
I have the impression you'd find out a lot of things about people you didn't necessarily want to know. Anyway,
probably not, but that's part of the fun. Yeah.
That concludes our regularly scheduled questions. I'm now going to put 30 seconds more on the clock and allow you to either answer for me any question you wish I had asked you, shamelessly plug something, ask me a question, pontificate on life in general, whatever you want, go.
Okay, I just want everybody to keep their eye on the most recent film that I produced. I've been working on it for over 10 years. It's a documentary on an incredibly talented individual by the name Don Lewis. And the film is appropriately titled Don Lewis and the Live Electronic Orchestra. So it's slated next year to be on PBS. I'm going to be producing a number of virtual events in partnership with a number of corporations and philanthropic groups to get the word out about the progress of the film and how it's going as I polish the apple and get it ready. And I'm excited about it because the original version was 94 minutes. And prior to COVID, I went a different direction and went through the arduous process of cutting out 38% of the film and dropping it down to 57 minutes. But it still holds up and I like it.
And even though you've gone way over the buzzer on that one, I certainly allowed it. Actually, I held the buzzer back.
You did. You gave me a break there. Thank you for the
time. I did. Because I love the film. It's a great film, and I wanted you to have a chance to tell people about it. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Go see this movie. It's a great movie. And Don Lewis is a hell of an interesting guy, too. The movie's very well done. Ned Augustenborg, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you, Daniel. Always a pleasure. And I'll try to prepare better next time.